On today's episode, JC and I are going to do a deep dive on what it means to be a next-gen mortgage loan originator. You ready to go? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children 18 plus, you are tuned in to the Loan Officer Podcast with me, Dustin Owen, and my main man,
JC.
John Coleman.
Yo, what's poppin'?
Back in the studio, homie.
Yeah.
How nice does this feel?
It does feel better.
Yeah, that dry-ass air out in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Shout out Arizona.
Dude, shout out to Housing Wire who did it up.
Yeah, that was
like
fun
big
event.
time. That was a
good time.
really well done event.
Food was shitty, but everything else was kosher.
Hey, you know what? That happens from time to time when you get that banquet food. Like it comes with the territory. Yes, when the breakfast at a high-end resort is the same breakfast I can get by staying at a Residence Inn. Yeah, I'm like, that's not a good.
It's called the Continental.
It is called no. It's called making fake eggs and the highest, most processed bacon for hundreds, if not thousands of people. I just don't think you can do that well. Like, I just don't think it's possible. So it's like the same menu and the same vendors and the same suppliers of those fake eggs. They supply it to the high-end resorts like we were staying in, because we were at a high-end resort.
Shout out Cisco.
And then, shout out to, and then they also feed them to, like, the Motel 6. Yeah. But no, it was a phenomenal event. I'm happy to be home. Arizona was a little bit too hot and too dry, but I'll tell you this. This was my third time going to Arizona. It was the first time I actually thought it was pretty. So I've been to Arizona 2 other times.
Was it rainy? I always think it's beautiful.
No, I need green in my life. Just like you need green in your life.
Daily.
A different type of green, but I need green. And I've been to Arizona in the winter. And I've been to Arizona in the late summer. I'd never been to Arizona in the spring. Yeah, it was hella pretty.
Flowers and shit.
Yeah, especially down there in Paradise Valley where we were staying.
I can see why they call it Paradise Valley.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah. So nonetheless, thank you, Housing Wire. What a phenomenal event. It's going to be in Colorado Springs next year. So hopefully we'll get invited to come back out and we can be participants. And, we had an opportunity to record 3 awesome episodes, 2 that you've already dropped, and 1 that I think you'll drop sometime later this week or next.
Correct.
So I'm looking forward to that, and shout out to Arjun Dhingra, because Arjun is our guest.
Yeah.
His episode is going to drop actually after the episode that we are recording today. And today's episode is super important. I mean, we literally going to be talking about what it means to be a next-gen LO.
Okay.
This was a hot topic of conversation when we were out in Scottsdale. It's a hot topic of conversation in any major conference. It's a presentation I'm going to be giving this coming Monday up in Jacksonville when I'm going to be speaking at the Mortgage Bankers Association of Georgia event. So shout out to MBAG. And then I'm going to perfect it, and I'm going to hone it down to a 30-minute kick-ass presentation in, let's see if I say this properly, in Vegas. We're going to be in Vegas June 5th, 6th, and 7th. If you haven't gotten your tickets, y'all, if you're a mortgage loan originator, this is the who's who event of the year. Come out to Mastermind Summit. You can go to TLOPonline.com, click the link to register. There's a code there for you to save some money. But I'm going to be out there with like 20 of my mortgage loan originators. We're going to be out there with hundreds of other mortgage loan originators. You're going to be out there. We're going to be podcasting. We're going to be networking, learning, gambling, having a little bit of fun, having a couple drinks. And then, yes, my presentation out there, just like my presentation next Monday in today's topic, it's all going to be around what it means to be a next-gen mortgage loan originator. And to foreshadow what does the future look like, well, it's not going to look identical to what the past, but there's going to be many lessons there that we can follow. But we're also going to have to embrace the inevitable, which is technology.
Word.
On that note, let's get rocking and rolling. We don't have much time, John.
Okay, the next gen loan officer probably got to work harder and do something different, but hey, that's life.
Facts. Mic drop. Are we done?
That's all that it is.
Yes. For the most part.
Kind of, right?
For the most part. How about this? I want people to understand if it's new, what?
It's not true.
And if it's true?
It's not new.
Okay, understand that. And then how about this? People do business with
people they know, like, and trust.
Okay, so let's stop there. People do business with one word. What's the next word? People do business with
people.
People. People do business with people that they know, like, and trust. So when I'm thinking about the next gen loan originator, there's certain aspects that I'm like, y'all, we have to do what's true. we have to do what isn't necessarily new. And we have to understand that people do business with people. But we also have to recognize that our world, more than likely, is going to be rocked from a technological advancement over the next 2 to 3 years that we haven't seen this much technology at one time, except for if you were to look at the previous 20 years and see how much technology has shaped and changed where we are today. The amount of shaping and changing over the past 20, that's what we anticipate seeing over the next 3. So over the next 3, I'm literally getting ready to dump half of my personal stocks, and it's all going into NVIDIA. Like, true story. That's how much I believe in this. That is how much I believe that technology is going to shape business more in the next 3 years than it has the previous 20. That I'm going to look at the small little nest egg I've built in my TD Ameritrade account or Charles Schwab, whatever it is now. They always get sold to a new
Voya
company.
now, probably.
Yeah, I started at E-Trade, and then I think it became TD Ameritrade. Then it became Schwab. I think it's Schwab now. I don't have a lot of money in there. It's my play money, right? This is my true play money that I've been playing with for the past 15 years. But I'm going to look at my holdings, and I'm going to take half that money, and I'm going to put it all into NVIDIA. So understanding that, now I'm starting to look at, well, what does it look like if I'm a mortgage loan originator? I'm going to tell you the good news is people do business with people. So you have to go out there more than ever and be a great person. Be a known person. Be a seen person. Be a heard person. Be a person of influence. Also a person who is in the know. I mean in the know, like you know what's going on in the markets. You know what's going on in your industry. And you know how to give proper advice when it comes to financial literacy matters. I think more than ever, those that are going to excel in the future are advisors first. It's why we are friends with Dave Savage over at Mortgage Coach. It's why I promote people utilizing technologies like Mortgage Coach. It's because I'm looking at the future and I'm like, okay, before it was a best practice. Before it was like, hey, if you want to be elite, you do this. I think going forward, what the elite do is going to be the norm, right? So if the elite are leveraging technology such as Mortgage Coach to be an advisor, I think those that are gainfully employed with careers, they do it. Meaning it's no longer just for the elite. This is for everybody.
What are some of the pain points that you're experiencing with LOs? What are they, just stagnant to change? They don't want to adopt new technology. So what are they most fearful of with new technology?
Well, there's a reason why the book Who Moved My Cheese is still a classic, right? Because it's just human nature to not want to change, even if change is better. That's something that one of the presenters said out at the gathering. In fact, it was the CEO of Next Home. A dude's super impressive. I wish I could remember his name, and I would love to get to know him better. But he made a statement on stage where he says, why does change always have to be taking something away? Like, meaning that's where human brain goes. Oh, we have to change. What are you going to take from me now? It's like, no, what am I going to add to you? Because change very well could be adding something. It's adding a new process. It's adding a new technology. It's adding, and change doesn't have to be a negative thing. It could be a positive thing. Most people don't want to change because they don't want new. They don't want unknown. They don't want to actually have to, you said it, work. Right? Change is also work. But, and I'm going to end my keynote on Monday when I'm at the Mortgage Bankers Association of Georgia with this saying, and you know it because you've heard me say it for 5 years now, nothing changes.
If nothing changes.
If nothing changes. So imagine this, if the world around you is changing, but you're not changing, well, that means you're not evolving, which at that point, it means you are in a slow death spiral. So we all have to be changing. When I look forward to what does the industry look like I was hanging out with Brent with Form Free. If y'all don't know Brent with Form Free, just know this about him. He is like one of the masterminds, one of the brains behind Fannie Mae's D1C, Day One Certainty. Okay, this guy knows a thing or two about technology. That is his jam and has been his jam for like over 2 decades. Okay, when I talk to Brent, he starts talking about digital DNA. He starts talking about coins. I'm like, what? But it makes sense. All of us, just like we have a DNA, right? You can swab the inside of my mouth and figure out where my ancestors are from, whether or not I'm predispositioned for diabetes, etc. Right? We have that DNA. We should be able to have a financial DNA where a company can, for very little effort, can gain access, or we can share with them our token. All of our information is on a token. Think back in the day, John, for you, a CD. Like think about a CD, but then making it the size of a quarter, and then cutting that quarter in half, and then cutting that half in half, and that half in half. And all your information can be stored on like a grain of sand. And then you can take that grain of sand, and that grain of sand can be shopped around amongst financial institutions all throughout the world. And those financial institutions can then bid on whether or not they want to onboard you as a client and at what offering. Well, if I'm a mortgage loan originator and I think that my worth is because I do a really good job of pre-qualing and pre-approving borrowers, meaning I dotted, T crossed, I calculated income, I got those bank statements, I figured out what loan program would work best. I don't foresee that being a strength. I think me being a loan officer in the future, the next gen LO, is first and foremost, I am someone who does a phenomenal job of marketing myself. I am a bit of a spokesperson in my community. I am a keeper or sourcer of the information. People come to me for my advice, for my information, and they love my robot. Like imagine like if you're watching on YouTube right now, put my arm around like this fake thing, but that fake thing would be my robot. I'm like, hey, my name is Dustin Owen. I represent XYZ Mortgage Company. And let me tell you what's going on in the housing market right now. Let me tell you what's going on in the U.S. economy. Let me offer the services of me and my robot. And here's how this is going to work. You're going to feed my robot all this information. My robot's then going to go out and help us do X, Y, or Z. Help us find the right lender, help us find the right loan product, help us whatever the case may be. And then along the way, what I'm going to do is check in with my robot to make sure that my robot isn't missing out on anything. But more importantly, I want to make sure I can answer your questions because my robot's going to give us 2 or 3 options. And I can be here to help you navigate which of those 3 options is best for you. But by the way, these are 3 options that you qualify for. My robot's already figured that out in about 13 seconds. So these are 3 options you qualify for, but these are the pros and cons of each option. And then obviously, if we ever need to communicate to the robot because maybe something changed, whether it's a low appraisal, or maybe you had a mid-flight adjustment, something happened with your income, a new debt showed up on your credit report, you went and spent the $5,000 that your uncle had gifted you because you have a gambling addiction, now I need to restructure your loan. I will be able to work with my robot and work with you to make sure that all your questions are answered, to make sure you're getting the right loan, to make sure that all of your fears and anxieties are being calmed while my robot goes to work. And I could foresee that being the way things work. Now, when this happens, I need to make sure that I am the person who has the largest following. That following could be on TikTok. It could be on Instagram. It could be on YouTube. That TikTok could be within my church. That following could be within my church. That following could be within the PTA of the school. That following could be amongst some kind of a professional organization I'm about. But I need to be the source of information, the human people trust, and then I just need to have the right robots that I work with. And here's my 2 thoughts on the robots. And robots, by the way, is my funny terminology to call technology, whether it's AI, which is artificial intelligence, whether it's automated
Shit, I hope it's a robot.
Technology. Yeah, John hopes it's an actual.
Yeah. So what I hear, translation, what I'm hearing, because it sounds like loan officers at large won't be affected, but it's like everybody underneath them, like processors and underwriters. So it sounds like loan officers like dealing with their human processor because they would do all the paperwork for them, but now they're going to have to talk to a robot. So
yes, I mean, I think that's the big unknown. I think that's also something I need people to understand is these are thoughts. Like today, you and I are sharing thoughts. Now, these are thoughts that aren't my own thoughts. Something that I do for this audience is I curate content. Right. You and I together curate content. What does that mean? By interviewing people, whether it's on camera or off camera, we are curating content. By subscribing to publications like Housing Wire, MBS Newslink, or reading what's going on in the Wall Street Journal, we are curating content, right? By following guys like Logan Mutashami or Barry Habib, we are curating content so then we can break it down and then we can give it back in digestible bite-sized chunks. And I think the greatest thing is It's all fluid. None of us really know. And when you sit down and you talk to any technologist, here's what they will tell you. Technologists create technology to solve for a certain problem that they from the outside looking in see. Mm-hmm. But the users of technology, they dictate how that technology is going to be used. 9 times out of 10, if you study history, the technology the problem that the technology was originally intended to solve is not how the user used it. Mm-hmm. And the user ends up using the technology 3 or 4 different ways, sometimes more productively and way more creative than what the technologist who created it was. So just because there's a technologist sitting behind the scenes saying, well, I'm going to make this and this is going to solve for X, Y, and Z, we'll put that in the hand of a saleswoman or a salesman who's super creative. They may actually take that piece of equipment, flip it backwards, hold it upside down, and then start using it. And then the technologist realizes, holy shit, I didn't know it would work for that too. Mm-hmm. And now all of a sudden that becomes the preferred use of that technology. So what I'm getting at is we really don't know. But what I do know is this is coming at us, and it's coming at us at warp speed. Think about it, a speed that is roughly 8 to 10 times faster than any other technology in terms of its
they would call
advent.
That exponential.
Exponential, yes. It's coming at an exponential speed. And we're going to have our eyes wide open, our ears wide open, our head on a swivel, and we need to be aware of it. Now, here's what I've learned in my career. There will be 2 or 3 companies out there who are successful at leading the technology charge. And I'm looking at mortgage companies. Yeah. Okay. There will be another dozen that fail at leading the technology charge. Then there's the rest of us. This is the camp that I want to be in, that I'm coaching people to be in. Because I don't want to be one of the 12 that goes all in on technology and I spend tens of millions of dollars that I don't have, and my technology ends up not being the best in class, ends up being the least likely to be adapted. And although I would love to be a part of the 3 that actually do lead the charge with the technological advances, here's what I've learned about those 3. Those 3 are going to do all the heavy lifting. They're going to spend all the money.
Yeah, make all the mistakes first, and then people come behind them and just, all right, thank you for messing up and correcting all my mistakes before I make them. I'll just take it from here.
Yes. I want to be a fast follower.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I literally want to be a fast follower when it comes to technology, because I don't want to be one of the 12 that crashes and burns. And although it'd be super cool and fun to be one of the 3, I don't know if those 3 are going to get so far out ahead that they're going to have some kind of intellectual property that the rest of us aren't going to have access to, because I don't believe technology works that way. It may have worked that way in the 80s. It may have worked that way in the 90s. It may have worked that way in the early 2000s. Right. But with what we can do today with machine learning, with automation, with these processors that companies like NVIDIA are making, I don't think it's going to take years to ever catch anyone that's on the front end of the technology. So I want to be a fast follower. Now, if I'm working for a company or I'm running a company and we're not fast followers, or if I'm a loan originator and I am refusing to leverage technology, which, by the way, loan officers refusing to leverage technology, to me, loan officers refusing to network online, loan officers refusing to utilize video marketing, like that is your refusal of utilizing technology. Automation, when it comes to CRM, loan officers not automating. Loan officers who don't use Mortgage Coach on the front end, who don't use something like HomeBot on the back end. Like, those are technology build-ins that you not only have to pay for, but then you have to build out and use, because the stats, the proof, the business rationale is that this is what's going to separate you. This is what's going to allow you to stay relevant. This is why people are going to use you. It's not going to be because you know how to quickly pre-approve someone or quickly get a loan closed. I think getting things closed quickly,
it's a thing of the past.
I think that's just going to be
the norm.
That's the norm.
So what I hear, a bunch of old loan originators that are in the industry, if they're not on Facebook now, they have no hope of succeeding when AI really drops.
I mean,
They have if you can't even get on Facebook and then AA is about to drop, like, bro, just
like,
go work for Jiffy Lube because
yeah,
you're screwed.
like literally, let's talk about what does your YouTube channel look like?
What is YouTube?
How much video content are you creating? What is your online presence? Talk to me about your personal brand. How are you connecting with your community? How are you serving those in your community? Are you even sending a newsletter? People do business with people. We stopped right there. Okay. People do business with people, but what if they don't know you exist? What if if you're not reminding them that you're here? What if you're not getting them to know, like, and trust you? How do they know, like, and trust you? You have to show them something about you. Then you have to share your knowledge with them for free. So if I share something with them, for me, it's, I love to go hiking. I love the Atlanta Braves. I love training for triathlons. I was recently at a Luke Combs concert. Like, I need to be sharing that with people so they see, oh, wow, that dude's with his wife and his daughter. What a beautiful family. Oh, he's at a concert. Wow. Okay, maybe they resonate with that. Then I need to be sharing with them my knowledge. Hey, this is what's going on in the economy. This is what's going on in housing. Is now a time to buy? Well, it depends. Is now a good time to buy? Well, it depends. Like, they need to be hearing that from me. And if they're not going to know I exist, at which point they will just go find a robot, regardless if there's a good human to work with that robot. Because I do think we will also have to compete against that. We will have to compete against companies who don't want to even use humans.
All robots.
All robots. All robots all the time. Right. And my differentiator is going to be, look, you get my robot and you get me.
Yeah.
Because who wants to, I don't know about you, but I don't like to call in to a 800 number.
Give me a human, I hit 0 and 0. Yes. I hang up.
Yes, I think that's still going to exist. Right. But then when it comes to the technology too, because I was talking about being a fast follower, there's also going to be this. We all have tech vendors. Like the mortgage company that I help run, we use Encompass as our loan origination software. Do you not think that Encompass has some of the smartest computer programmers behind the scenes working on AI implementation, working on, so like for me to think that my mortgage company is going to go out there and we're all of a sudden going to become the leaders in tech? No, I have a feeling that those with the most to lose, which by the way, those with the most to lose are the tech companies currently servicing the mortgage company.
They're going to put themselves out of business.
Yes, like they are going to make sure that they protect everything that they built. Right. So like I'm going to look to be a fast follower, and I'm going to look to tie into what the companies like Form Free or Black Knight or ICE or Encompass. I think I probably just named 3 companies that all belong to the same company because anymore they've been gobbling each other up. Right. Like I'm going to trust that Optimal Blue, which I think is also one of those companies that was recently gobbled up, but I'm going to trust that those companies are very tech forward. I just have to make sure that I'm a part of anything that they're doing, that I'm embracing it, and that my head is on a swivel and I am looking to adopt whatever it is, because I do need to become that elite human, that elite person that people want to work with. So that would be my call to action. And I didn't leave Housing Wire feeling any less than that. Like when we were at the gathering, no, I left feeling, holy shit, let's go. Like we are going to have to do this. And I think the younger originators, those that are 4 years or less in their career, those are the ones to watch out for, because those are the ones that are going to be the most adaptable.
Tech savvy. That's all they know. Growing up on this TikTok age, they're going to be.
Correct. But I even think if you're 45 years old, but you've only been in the mortgage industry for 2 years, you're still less than 4 years in your career. Right. That's all you know. I think the top producers, those that are in the top 10% of production year in, year out at their company, I think they too are going to be able to have careers moving forward, and they're going to have successful careers moving forward because there's a reason why they're top 10%ers. Who I'm worried about is those that aren't in the top 10%, that have been in the industry for 10 years or more. I think those are the people that need to hear this message the most, figure out where they are in their lives, where they are in their careers. If you have less than 5 years in this career, keep doing what you're doing.
You'll be all right.
Like, yeah, you'll be fine. Keep doing what you're doing. But if you're wanting to have great success 7, 10, 15 years post 2024, yeah, you are going to have to start looking at your process, looking at the value you bring to the community you serve, to your clients, to your referral sources, and ask yourself, are you tech forward? Are you modern? Are you the next gen MLO? And if you're not, it's time to make a change.
Well said, Dustin.
Yeah, so that's my call to action for today. It's very mortgage specific. So for anyone else who's not in the mortgage industry and you were tuning out, well, I hope you enjoyed that. For all of our mortgage listeners and viewers on the YouTube, yes, make this be your wake-up call. This is your rallying cry. We don't know what it's going to look like. Truth be told, none of us do. If someone tells you they know what's going to look like,
they're lying to you.
They are lying. But we know it's coming.
Oh, yeah.
We have an idea of what it's going to sound like, smell like, and feel like. Let's go ahead and be receptive. Let's start now looking for ways to adapt, understanding that we may have to try things 7, 8, 9 different times to find 2 or 3 that are going to stick. Only time will tell. Make sure you are evolving with the time so that you can stay one step ahead of the curve.
Good job, Dustin.
He's John Coleman. I'm Dustin Owen. You have just tuned in to the Loan Officer Podcast. If you have not done so already, please slide over to our YouTube channel, TLOP, and subscribe. Go to tloponline.com. We have a free newsletter that I write every single week. Sign up for the newsletter. It is free to do. If you're looking for coaching, specifically mortgage loan originator coaching, we have a phenomenal coaching community led by me, along with 5 top producers that are our coaches. We invite you to join the TLOP MLO coaching community. All that information is found on our website, tloponline.com. And the 3 events that I discussed today, we have a free call with Tim Brahim this Thursday, May 9th. You don't want to miss it. On May 29th.
Don't ask me.
It's Wednesday, May 29th, I believe, is when we're going to be in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. The information is over on the website, tloponline.com. And then June 5th, 6th, and 7th, Mastermind Summit in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Come party with us, learn with us, network with us. We love to see you. He's John Coleman. I'm Dustin Owen. That's all the time we have for you today, but we do look forward to catching you on the next episode. Peace.